All right, everyone, we are here with two very special guests. We are joined by the lovely Christy Carlson Romano and Anneliese Vanderpool. They're here to talk about their new podcast, Big Name Bitches, which I now understand is because you guys have long names.
After saying the names, right?
Well, before we started, I was like, both of them have long names. And Fran was like, yeah, big name bitches.
And she was like, okay, yeah.
Now it makes sense.
Totally get it.
But you guys look fantastic. You guys look beautiful. I love the setup right now. Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're so excited to talk to you guys.
I was jealous that we had another Podco group come through you guys with the Wizards Pod.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, we have to get them on. And so I totally bought your merch and tagged you in your socials.
Hey,
now we're on. We've manifested it.
We were going to have you on regardless if you bought our merch or not.
I mean, it was Kim Possible merch, I will say.
Yes.
I had to do it.
It was very cool to see that, because that's also how we connected with the Wizards Pod. Also, they were like, "Oh my god, the same kind." They saw the merch. Yeah.
And we told the story at first when David reached out to us. We were like, "Oh fuck, are we about to get sued for these shirts?" And he was like, "No, I just want one." Like he was like, "I want shirts."
Well, I think y'all were smart with the way that you titled it. Do you guys go through Fanjoy too? Do you guys use Fanjoy?
No, we have it's all in house.
That's so cool. Oh yeah, with Barstool. You guys are Barstool's very cool.
Yeah,
they're very cool.
Well, guys, thanks for jumping on. You just have a new podcast that came out in the last month or so, which is super exciting. Last couple weeks, end of August. Jumping right into it, Christy, you kind of feel like I feel like you've become a podcast queen now.
Mama.
Like you're just
I'm a mama.
Exactly. You have
the
all these
podcast mother.
Right. You have all these, podcast network and now your own podcast. How did you guys come together for specifically this podcast? Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Look at them with their directed questions. Yeah. We are literally like squirrel. You're mentoring us right now, just so you know. Look, I mean, I think it was such a gift. Social media in general, new media in general, it's very different than, traditional media. And so when I delved into it, I want to say oh my God, 8 or 9 years ago now, I never saw myself, having podcasts for other folks, certainly. And I didn't even know what a podcast was. So it was my husband and CEO of Podco who was like, podcasts are the future. And I was like, for real? Mm-hmm. And then I did a little bit more digging. I was like, okay, so I could actually stop walking in the woods on YouTube and talking about my deepest traumas.
Those were great videos, though.
I love those. They were pretty viral.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. So basically, it's been great. And then also just ringing up my friends who I know are super interesting. And even getting closer with folks that Anneliese and I didn't get to be close. We were what you say, we were parallel.
We had parallel paths, parallel careers. Yeah, we were kind of doing the same work. So we were playing the same characters so often. We were both in Beauty and the Beast on Broadway. Yeah. And I should probably, I'm just kidding.
Start singing. Start singing right now.
Not that there's anything wrong with community theater, but and we just were on the Disney Channel. And I don't know, we were sort of always, I wouldn't say, the right kind of jealousy and envy of each other. I really want to know that girl, but I can't know her.
Or the right kind of, I like that.
The right kind of, yeah. I wish I was in her life, but I kind of hate her because of it, but I kind of hate her because I really want to know her.
I kind of love that.
How many people do we have in our lives like that? You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So we wanted to be friends. and then I did her podcast. I did Vulnerable, and it just went off so well. Mm-hmm. And we just wanted to keep going and just have a fun podcast together.
Yes.
That's it. And
100%. Now she's regretting every day of it.
Every day, y'all. I mean, do you regret it? Do you both regret working with each other?
How do you guys do it?
How?
Oh, we've been doing it for a long time.
We've just been doing it for so long. I actually thought about that yesterday. I was like, man, good for us. Just the fact that it's
stuck together.
We've stuck together for this many years, and not everyone can say that because people butt heads when they work together, and that doesn't really
know that, don't we, ladies?
Yeah, you just push through like the early stages when you're like, oh, if there's ever any clash, you just kind of push through it. Then when you get past that point, female friendship becomes like sisterhood, and you let the little things go.
Totally.
And then it's cohesive, I think.
It's interesting.
That's very
We're talking
interesting.
about female friendship. I've had some friend breakups in the past because I've been a really bad communicator in the past. So now I think Anneliese can attest that I'm like, I try really hard to communicate at every turn. I'm like, are you okay?
Yes.
How are you feeling?
Yeah.
Because like, I just can't go through another friend breakup. Like it was really hard.
After we filmed some episode yesterday, and I was like telling her, you know, my concerns and what I thought went well, my micro and my macro notes, and and she was like, okay, well, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I think so. She's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, are you sure? And I was like, well, no, I'm not, girl. Like, I don't know. Should I be? But I think she was just being a mama.
Yes, that's the thing. It's like, are you a friend or are you like maternal? And so I get those wires crossed. Yeah. And yes, like I think like with creating all those pods, like for me, a part of that felt like I was growing my family. So that's how it feels.
Aww.
Right. And at that point, you're like, I was okay, but now you've asked me so many times that I feel like maybe I shouldn't be. Like, are you telling me that I said
you
something
shouldn't
wrong?
be. You should be very nervous.
I know. She's like, and then I was like, I could also be confusing. I mean, we're not fixed properties, right? We can change our minds. We change our minds all the time. Like starting this podcast, I'm learning a lot. Like, what can I talk about? You know, you can be, I mean, both of you must have such experience with this. Like, you know, starting a podcast and just being concerned always about being canceled. And it's like, well, I'm a good person. How could I be canceled? But every little tidbit, every word is being, you know, is on a microscope and dissected. And of course, if a little snippet of it is taken out of context, you know, then you're really screwed. Can I say screwed? I mean, you guys, I'm freaking out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's different.
It is different, and it's different because you guys lived, you live that life. So the stories are from your own firsthand experience, and you've seen things and you've heard things, which is what people are always so interested in. We live on the outside of it, so we team up with the people who like to speculate on other things because we don't have the firsthand stories to share where it's like, ooh, if we tell this story, is this going to put us in a tough spot? It's more like, hey, is somebody in our personal life going to get mad at us if we share something that we shouldn't?
But
even
we were talking the other day.
about
we were just talking the other day about just like our first time, you know, being young. And I was just like, you know, I started to tell the story and I was like, oh, my dad might be listening. Like, this is really, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So, but then it's also thinking like, wait, I've done nothing wrong. I should be able to tell the story. And also I want to be an open book, but I don't know. I'm really figuring it out. You know, when I'm under the helm of Christy and it's, you know, and a female, sometimes I wonder for you ladies what it's like with Barstool Sports under sort of male leadership.
Barstool, I didn't realize it initially, but it does have a female creator, right? Like your founder is a female.
Our founder is male, but our CEO
is female.
I mean, we're really like allowed to say and do whatever we want. Yeah. It's kind of just up to us. Everyone
Thankfully,
can really be
we're
themselves.
Self-orchestrated. And our show is our show. So we can kind of run our show the way we want to run our show, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's the same kind of thing. Like, you know, Christy, I'm sure you guys are running all these other podcasts, but you want them to creatively do whatever they want to do.
Well, we just sat down with our Neds folks. They came on and the chaos was wild. Y'all need to have that Neds Declassified people, please. Have them on your show.
Yes.
They are chaos and a good time all the time. I mean, we were talking about how Lindsay Shaw like has consented to getting dick pics. And I'll let you tell her about it, but yeah, it's wild. Like they are a different kind of chaos. And like our chaos of big name bitches is really, we drink mocktails, which I thought was really fun to kind of introduce people, an interactive element. People started asking after our first couple episodes, like, hey, we want these recipes for these mocktails. And, you know, us being alcoholics is just a part of our story. And it kind of like is very inclusive to anyone who wants to come and listen and know that like we've been through some shit, but like here we are with each other kind of laughing and being joyful. And like that's the takeaway, I guess, with our pod, you know?
And getting to the other side and being women now, not young girls. And So
if you're saying you guys didn't really know each other through those early Disney days. At what point did you like reconnect and have these conversations? Was it when you were doing podcasts? Not this podcast, but other ones?
Brendan knew after. So she did my YouTube cooking show.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah. And then Brendan, my husband's CEO guy, dude. You know, that guy.
Man.
Brendan Rooney. He's not here. I miss him. But he was like, you and Anneliese need to do something. I don't know what it is, but you have something. And I was like, oh, stop it. She doesn't like me like that. It was
well, not like that.
She doesn't like me like that. Like
what?
She's not going to commit to me like doing something. Okay.
That's our thumbnail.
Yes, I do. I love
it. So I was like shy about, you know, her, and I thought she was really cool. And then basically when she came on Vulnerable, she was just in such a great place, and Brendan really, he just happened to be there.
Yeah.
We have 2 kids in Austin, we live, and so it's like we're never in the same place. But he just happened to be there, and he was like, you know what, Anneliese, let's talk. And that's where it kind of came up.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where we couldn't stop talking. And isn't that the number one thing for a podcast, you know?
Yes, definitely is.
There was a lot that wasn't said.
Right.
There was a lot that wasn't said. Yeah. It's so funny. There were no even hums or hims or haws or ums. I mean, now we've got a couple ums. Now we've run through the gamut. Now we're searching for things to do.
Can you guys teach us like what's the key to sustaining? How do you guys do it? Even
That's
with
good
all the
question.
haters out there and all the bullshit,
Yeah.
all the noise.
I mean, I think it's just about being consistent. And then I think the fact that we have like a very strong fan base that we want to continue to like show up for, and they support us all the time. And as many people that can give hate and say whatever, there are the people that enjoy listening to us, and I think that we just want to entertain them. And like I think and we genuinely enjoy doing it, and is our jobs. But I just love the fact that I get to like entertain people, and they genuinely want to hear from us.
Right.
So then how do you guys show up for them? Like, is it just that like you ask the questions that you know they want asked kind of thing?
I think it's more just like when we started off, we knew that it was going to be like a pop culture based show, and we were just 2 people who love talking about pop culture, and I mean, when we started, I guess like podcasts really did pick up. We started this in 2017. They were picking up at that time, but still a lot of like pop culture and celebrity news and all of that was reported very news based, you know, like e-news, straight to the point. And I think what resonated with people was the fact that we just talk about pop culture like you would talk about it with your friends offline, like, you know, texting or just like in a regular conversation. And so I think...
Yeah, it's an authenticity thing.
Right. And it's just like starting off that way. That's how people got to know us, and then continuing to stay true to that and just always do that and just talk about pop culture, and then also talk about our lives, because people get to know us through talking about pop culture, and then they want to get to know about you. And
honesty, you know, we do 3 episodes a week. So there are days where we come in and you just have to be honest. Everyone can tell if you're having a down day or if maybe you're not feeling it, but to put that forward and say, you know what, guys, I know some people who are listening to this can relate to this, just not having that day. Today is just not the day.
And I think a lot of people can relate to that, where they listen and they're like, you know what, me fucking too. Like I'm also not feeling well, or I'm tired, or I'm in a bad mood, or you're having a great day where you're excited. And like it like Fran said, it's just about being honest and authentic, and then people can relate to that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Like speak on your truth, but in a way that's kind of joyful.
Yes.
So you don't lose your audience.
Exactly, right? I know.
I think
I know.
it's so cheesy, but it's really like just be like, people can tell when you're not being yourself, I think. Like I think people can really
inauthentic.
I think people can really
it's like a human experience.
People
It's
can
like,
pick up
and
when
plus,
someone's being themselves, and it's like, you guys just be yourself, and people love you guys. And I also think what's so interesting for you two is that, you know, you mentioned that you guys live this parallel lives and paths, and you knew of each other, but like a little jealousy, and now you guys are doing this show. There are so many stories that you probably both have that you have told before, but each other has not heard. So I think that's really cool that you guys can be telling each other stories. Yeah. And it's the first time that other people are hearing it, and you're also getting the genuine reaction from the other person as well.
That's true.
Yeah, we definitely, and we've started doing that, and I think we could do that more. It's so interesting. It's so hard though. You start telling a story, and then like, oh my gosh, remember when we were doing Beauty and the Beast? Oh my God, who was your Beast? Oh, this guy who was terrible. And it's like,
stuck his tongue down my throat.
Oh no! Like, okay, oh well, and then we said his name. Was he terrible to me? And am I still working with him? And you know what I mean? It's really hard, but. Again, you just have to speak your truth, and then truly nobody, no job, no money, no person can say to you, if you know you're speaking your truth and a good person. I mean, yes, money makes the world go round, and we all want jobs and podcasts and to work for Disney. I mean, I still work for Disney, you know? So I don't know. It's interesting. It's a fine line.
She's navigating it, and but she's in good hands, kind of thing. You know, it's I've been doing this for a while, and she's just killing it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What is that dynamic like? Like you still working for Disney, but you want to tell stories about being on Disney.
It's really, really, really hard. It's really hard. It's eye-opening. It's sad. It's depressing. It's hard to even, you know, we did this podcast because we wanted to have fun, but and also she's doing Vulnerable, and she wanted a departure from that. She was coming home really quite depressed all the time from doing it. Not all the time, but often. I mean, it's serious stuff. But it's so funny. It's like, no one's, you know, we're multifaceted. We have different feelings all the time. And, we're going to have bad days. Like you said, we're honest days when we're on our period, days where
I'm on my period right now.
You're
welcome for that exclusive.
I think I'm getting mine soon.
Great. We're going to sync up on that.
Of course, which is so cool. I love how women sync up. I love that.
It's not the coolest shit.
It's so cool.
It's actually insane how much that works. It blows my mind.
It's your underarm pheromones that makes you sync up.
Really?
That's so and it's tribal, so that everyone would like, you know, be able to raise their kids at the same time or some shit. Like, I don't know. It's really wild. It's very
interesting.
Cool.
Like, it takes a village. It takes a village.
It really, truly. I wish I had a fucking village.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But anyway, it's hard.
By the way, there's always been chats and talks about Kim Possible coming back. So in the back of my mind, I'm always like trying to negotiate how I feel about Disney as well. And what I will say is that at least on my end and the times that we've talked about it on the pod, it's always been through a very neutral lens where it's like, look, we have had experiences that are unrelated to the big D. Oh God, to the big D.
Yeah.
But the truth is like it might have been a time that was related to the big D, but at the same time, it's like we're independent of them too. Like our human experience, I think, usurps the politicization or the politicizing of the company, right? Wouldn't you say? It's like it's not always just about the big D and like making that the search title, although we do use it a lot.
Dude, are you talking about Disney?
The big D.
Okay, honestly,
I feel like we should call it like what?
It's like either way, this is working. I mean, this conversation makes sense.
It really does. It tracks both ways.
Totally.
But also too, I personally really do believe in Disney magic. And like when I see her, like she just did a cruise ship. She did Disney cruises with Disney princesses. It's so beautiful to see her perform. And to either be like, you know, like singing her beautiful songs and she'll post about it. And I'm just like, go. I'm like, Lightning McQueen, Anneliese, be a princess.
You're so sweet.
So it's still very much a part of who we are. Like we can't walk away from it completely.
But it is hard. And like there's some editing. We filmed such an episode yesterday and we'll be doing some editing. I mean, which is like
we control the narrative.
We control the narrative. But it is crazy. It is like, and then also people saying, you know, like that's why I wanted to ask you ladies, like, people saying that one thing, like who do you listen to? A lot of people said we're bitter, and it's like I'm allowed to be bitter. I'm 40 years old. I'm bitter about a lot of things, and I'm not just bitter about myself and you know egotistical things. I'm bitter about global warming and what the world's coming to, and loads of things. And I'm allowed to be, but not for too long.
Listen, people have a lot to say all the time. Everybody has an opinion on the internet. Everybody has a comment. It is nonstop. At the end of the day, like, and this is what I have to tell myself sometimes too. There's a couple of things I have to tell myself, but one of them is being like, the comment that you see that like sticks with you all day, that person is like commenting and moving on with their life. Like they commented that and it took up 1 second of their day, and then they moved on with their lives, and they're enjoying their day, or they're not enjoying their day. I don't know, probably not if they're like commenting mean things, but
They're not thinking about the
they're
comment
not
again.
thinking about you or that comment. So it's like, why should I think about this all day long when it didn't take up much of their day? And that's just one thing that I think about. I mean, obviously it's so much easier said than done when people are like, don't listen to the comments, like whatever. Obviously you're going to see feedback and you want feedback on your show. Like you're putting something out
criticism.
there, but there's a difference between constructive criticism, I think, and like people genuinely being mean. And I think what you said is true. Like you're allowed to be bitter about some things. You're allowed to feel all kinds of emotions on every single scale about different things in life.
And like, have you ever said publicly anything about each other that you wish you hadn't said? No,
I don't
probably
think
not.
so.
Or like about someone that
say it to your
face,
face,
like somebody you've worked with that you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. Or maybe somebody.
See how it does not
maybe
faze them at all.
I would think somebody that
or somebody that we've like interviewed or had on, and
more
then
common
before, or we've had where we've said something about somebody and then they come on our show and we're like, ooh, we've talked about you before and we had this assumption. And it's, normally we're proven wrong because everybody is normally very, very nice.
Right. Once you get to know people, then it's like, oh, now we're on a human level and you stop like thinking about them a certain way, or they are exactly who you thought. It really depends. But I like to like usually joke around if that happens. There have been cases where we've talked about somebody publicly and then they come on our show and I will jokingly be like, I said this about you, because for me,
content.
That makes it more comfortable than just acting like I know. And I also know our listeners know what I said about them. So like, I don't want to be fake to our listeners when they know what I've said. And then they're like, wait, you're interviewing this person that you said this about. Like, it's better to just like lay it all out there. And then like you said, like their response is always going to be content. Like whatever they say, whether they hate
content,
us
baby.
or they like enjoy it. But I have a question for you guys, because Disney kind of sensitive because you guys still have ties to it and you want to work with them. But Nickelodeon, you talked about the Ned's people and you've had people on your show
talking about the two different experiences.
And I find it so interesting, just Nickelodeon as a whole, and also the difference between kids being on Nickelodeon and being on Disney.
Why? I actually why do you find that interesting?
Because I saw a clip.
Well, don't test her. She's like, well,
no.
I saw
it's just written on my cue card.
Yeah. no writers here.
No writers.
I have to ask you this.
We don't have writers either.
Yeah.
We're just gonna make that very clear.
Yes.
Well, we're joking because I made a joke on our show today where I was like, we were talking about the VMAs and Fran was like, the lack of writers is showing, like people don't know what to say when they get on stage. And I was like, I was like, these people don't know how to make jokes themselves. Like we don't have writers. And Fran was like, you didn't need to make that clarification. Nobody thought this show had writers. So
same.
Like,
not only are we the writers, I'm the art designer.
Exactly.
The drink maker.
Right.
Like, you name
it's
it.
the best part about having a podcast. But
very smart.
I saw a clip of you talking, and I'm blanking on who it was, but you were talking about how like Disney kids maybe like couldn't hang out with Nickelodeon kids, and there were like weird.
I actually don't know if Anneliese had the same experience, because I think like they started kind of like jumping over to like different, like they would guest star on certain like Zoe 101s and then they would come back to their show on Disney. So I think like the later kids, but initially, because even Stevens and stuff were like the OG content. Okay. Like before that round of stuff, there was like no original programming. There was, I don't know, like they had like NSYNC concerts and shit, like in the parks. And so like when we were coming up, there was a very big friction between Nickelodeon starting to do single camera stuff and Disney doing it. So they were like, very competitive off the bat, which makes sense, like I think there was like some competition there for sure that kind of trickled down from the executives down to the talent.
Ain't it all the same? It's all the same. I still get confused. I don't even know. I mean, honestly, Nickelodeon Disney Channel, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I thought Zoe 101 was on the Disney Channel for a long time.
Did you really?
Yes, like Kyle Massey, who was on.
His brother.
His brother was on it. And I was like, it's so cool that you guys are both on the Disney Channel at the same time. And he was like, what are you talking about, girl? It's Nickelodeon. I was like, what? Sorry, come again? Like, I didn't have cable growing up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I
think we were kind of more in a bubble. It does seem like the Nickelodeon kids got to go to like the VMAs and like all. Oh, that's right. Because Viacom owns MTV and Nickelodeon. So they kind of always were really smart about that synergy.
Right.
And they would like not groom, but they would like take the kids and they would make them superstars. Like
Nickelodeon was like a little bit more edgy. Like it was like they had like
always
you almost like you almost felt like
the jokes were always a little riskier.
Right. They were like a little dirty.
And
smarter.
But
also for not a good way.
Like
so for like
that's what I'm trying to say. When we talk about the advocacy, I do think that Nickelodeon had a lot less. Here's the example I like to give on like Disney stuff and the Disney kids and a lot of the ways that Disney kids were handled. I feel like it was always like there was an adult in the other room or an adult in the room. Like there was adult somewhere, there was some sort of supervision and you had to answer to somebody. Whereas I feel like with the Nickelodeon, it was like you had a really drunk uncle that was like in the house and like you could just throw the parties or you could jump off the fucking roof. Like they are chaotic. And I know this from the Ned's chaos. They are just chaos versus like the Wizards cast who's like really buttoned up and like when they say something, you know, potentially problematic, they're like, oh my God, like we can't have that. You know, they're very like, it's just different.
Yeah.
It's
now,
just different.
Were you aware, like while you were on your show and even after all of the stories that people have now about Nickelodeon and
I was not.
Dan Schneider?
No, I was not. I had no idea that was going on.
Who's Dan Schneider?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
He's an executive producer that fucked up.
It was not good. Not a good guy. That's all.
Right.
And now he's I think he moved out of Nashville, or moved to Nashville or somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe not Nashville, but you know, I don't know what he's up to. I never met him more than once. And that was at a Drake Bell birthday party.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the
interesting.
The Nickelodeon the Nickelodeon kids did not have the best. Some were fine, some weren't, you know, some had very bad experiences.
Ned's, however, they say they had a really good experience with their creators. So
that's great.
Yeah, I think in general, like it's from the creator down.
Totally.
It's like whoever's in charge, and I'm sure you can relate too. It's like when you have a very like powerful tone on set, it trickles down to whoever's like, you know, your employee.
Right.
So now back, like the connection between you guys and talking and kind of sharing these stories now, have you pinpointed a lot of times where maybe you've been you were at the same event, but you have totally different experiences at those events, or like you're like, wait, that like I experienced that night completely different than you did.
Okay. Well, that would be really cool to start to connect the dots. I think we should start to do that.
You should do that. You should
trying
look
to
at a timeline and be like,
with the same people at the
No,
moment. We're still not sure about that.
You should go back and be like, were we at this Radio Disney Awards like together? Like,
was that your boob in my face? I don't know, girl. I think like we're really just getting to know each other on a fundamental level right now. Like, I don't know if you guys 1.0, how it felt for you to start to really connect. Were you guys friends before?
No, we met here.
No, we met here.
So I mean, it's like,
And so, but now at
Does
this
that
point,
take
like
time?
we've known each other for 7 years. So it's like, we know each other really well. There are still some things that we learn about each other. I think ever like
sometimes
so
you
often.
whip out a new story I haven't heard before.
Yeah, I'm full of those.
It's like a marriage.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a marriage.
Exactly. Even after 7 years, still surprises me. Like
girls,
that type of thing.
that's amazing.
We were just talking about that with Christy's husband, though. Like, you know, he was, you know, we were saying, you know, we were talking about the show and some of the things we want to discuss. And, you know, people love the behind the scenes and hearing about our lives growing up. Of course, that's a big part of us. But it's funny. I think I think I blocked a lot of that out. I don't know why. I think a lot of, I was young, first of all, so it's hard to even remember that far back. And also I wasn't really partying. And we were young, so there weren't a lot of parties. Like, I wish I could give you juicy stuff. I mean, we went to Tiger Cruise.
Apparently she ended up at my house, but I was partying.
No, see, this is how bad
I was on Broadway at the time. You know that, right?
No, I don't think so. Oh, yes, of course.
I was
but
doing
we were in a
Bell.
hotel room. We were all in a hotel room.
What?
Yeah, they all put us in a hotel room for the Tiger Cruise. And remember, it was actually on a boat. The premiere was on a boat.
Yes, it was on the Intrepid. They're in New York.
It was with Hayden Panettiere.
Yeah.
Panettiere.
Yeah.
And
there's a picture of you, me, Raven, and Hayden Panettiere with the heads of Disney, and it's this really great picture of like all of us, and I love that picture. And I don't love what I'm wearing, but we'll talk about it. We like to talk about it.
Yeah, and it's also like we were young, right? How old? If you were 19,
I was in college.
Maybe
for sure.
I was already 18. Then.
Okay, yeah, I was in college. And this is the thing: we were out. You know, we used to drink. Our brains are fried. We don't remember shit.
I know. No,
we Google ourselves.
Also, like. Here's the thing. I'm just going to say it. Like when you asked me that question, I had things to say, but I truly feel like I can't say it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. Maybe it's like, then what are you doing? What are you doing with the podcast? You know what I mean? Like, why do you have a podcast if you're not going to share? But it is like, I'm just scared, y'all.
Yeah,
I'm scared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hug. We got you.
That makes
scared,
sense.
But I think what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I think you have to.
Yeah.
What did you say to me?
I said, well, go ahead. If it doesn't cost you anything, it's not going to be interesting to your listeners.
But
right?
what better what she said? If it doesn't cost you anything, it's not worth anything. And I totally get that. I mean, and I want to share and I want to be open, but I got to just figure it out. I mean, I got it. I could tell you crazy things about the Tiger Cruise if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Yes. Don't tell that. You can
tell us.
And I'm like, was I underage?
It sounds like I'm telling you.
It sounds like she has a lot of things. Maybe just tell one.
Right, tell one. And I also think though, like if you need, like, it's hard to just be like, it's all gonna like be okay, but it is true. And there's a lot of cheesy sayings that I realize actually do help. Like if you say something, right, and you tell a story or you said something you think it might offend somebody or whatever it may be, like things move so fast. Like
I know.
They will care about that for us like a little bit,
no, that's
or
really
the internet,
sure.
and then they're on to the next thing because there is an oversaturation of things on the internet, and we all love it. We're taking it all in, but like people are moving past it really quickly. Like nobody's gonna beat you up on it, besides like maybe like the executives you're scared of. But like
I think what you really want to say to me is, who the hell do you think you are?
No,
Am I right?
Not at all. Not.
No, but it's true though.
Not
right?
at all.
I mean,
I get the same way, and people care way less about us. Like I get the same way, and then I remember like. You know what? They're really not like there have been things that have happened where people, it's a shitstorm for a little bit and then somebody else does something or says something and then it's okay. Mm-hmm. So tell us about the Tiger Cruise.
Okay, they're going back to
I know, right? I mean, I guess, I don't know if I was 18, but
what?
I went with my cousin. I brought my cousin with me.
Okay.
And this is before weed was legal.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't know if this is a big deal, but we snuck in our luggage to the Tiger Cruise from California from LA to New York. I want to like the biggest jar of weed, you guys. Like a jar full of it.
This is totally okay.
I know.
Of course it is.
It's so cute. You know, this is such an innocent story.
Because the amount of times I've talked about bringing weed to different countries and all this stuff, and I'm just going about my day acting like that's fine. Like this is so sweet.
Think about this. I'm play a Disney princess in a live version of the Disney Princess concert, and I don't know. I truly don't know the judgments of things, and people can fire you without telling you why.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and it is scary, but. Anyway, it's out there. So I took, and it isn't that big of a deal. And also, I think
and if you want to cut it, and if you want to cut it, you can cut it after. But weed is legal now, so you're okay.
Sweet. That's really nice of them. But I don't know if I smoked your weed. Did I smoke your weed?
No, you didn't. You were already pretty drunk. You didn't need it. We snuck it in a big coffee thing, though. I don't know how my cousin and I got it in. I just think that's crazy. But I also think it's like. Weed really helps a lot of people. Mm-hmm. It helps cancer patients. It's therapeutic. Like the fact that, and it's also legal now. So at least in California, and I wish it was legal everywhere. It's kind of like really annoying, but I don't know. I feel like people judge anything you do.
But
and
people are going to
frustrating
find
seeing
that relatable. Like you telling that story about you sneaking weed, they're going to go, oh my God, thank God she
It's a
was
human.
sneaking weed across the country like we would have done at that age.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think, yeah, there's going to be crazy people that judge you for that, but that's on them. That's their own issue.
That sounds like a personal problem.
Right. Like
Exactly.
you should, they should go figure out their problems if they're going to get mad at you about that.
Yeah. No,
You know, I keep wondering, like the producer in me is like, can you guys hear our or is our audio like good enough for you? I know. I've been thinking it's a whole
5 minutes
I've been thinking it.
You sound
whole
great.
time.
You should have said.
You sound
Really?
great. Yes.
Yeah,
And
it's
Like me,
do you have an issue? We're getting a thumb.
Our producer saying is
Our
good.
producer's giving us a thumbs
Okay,
up.
thanks, producer. We were doing GMA. Is his hair still blonde?
It sure,
it is.
sure is.
He looks really good with it blonde.
Yeah.
So they did this whole thing.
Oh
I
yeah,
know,
just
yes.
make his head
Yes,
fucking
yes.
bigger.
Boy chick.
Yeah.
Boy chick over
I've
here.
Yep.
seen him with the dark hair too. Yes, the blonde is
Very
so-
nice.
Yeah.
It really does.
It really does. Actually, not a lot of people can pull that off, but he is
Yeah.
pulling it
Yeah.
off.
Good job, buddy.
The
He's a good
man does
producer,
not
too.
need more compliments,
Yeah,
but
he
yes,
doesn't.
no.
I feel like the producers don't get enough love. Like our producer
Oh
was
my!
so much
Oh,
Maybe
well, you
you're-
don't know this producer then.
maybe you're a producer, but
Yeah, maybe your producer doesn't have a gigantic head.
our producer is the star of the show.
We do our live shows, and all the signs are about our produder. So
I love that.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, my,
Yes.
the-
I love that. Yeah.
no,
Yes.
he's great. He's great.
We do. It's funny we laugh because we do like these meet and greets at the beginning of the shows. We'll talk to girls, and as girls line up to talk to us, they meet us, and then they line up to talk to Noah. And that's an unorganized.
Yeah.
Like that's like. There's an organized line to come chat with us, but then they, on their own, line up to talk to Noah.
Noah hosts his
Noah's a
own
boy
meet and
bander.
greet on the side, and they all
my
go crazy.
goodness.
And then
Wow.
they get him too drunk. They buy him shots, and they're like, and then we told him like, you gotta like cool it a little bit. Like, of course, have fun, but like, you can't go missing in the middle of the show. We need you to produce the show. And we had to put like a shot ban on him. But then girls made it even worse. They were like, "Oh, you have to don't listen to Rhea and Fran." And they
Noah drunk.
yeah, that literally a chant breaks out like that. Yep.
Yep.
Is Noah single?
Yes, he
Yes.
is.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, if he's with someone, that person's not going to be happy.
No,
about
no,
this,
no,
but-
no. He's
but I'm
single.
glad.
That's why he
Okay.
loves it even more.
Yes.
Take your face off, Noah.
Yeah,
Take your freaking face off.
We're gonna have to clip that.
Okay, wait. So, Anneliese, I want to ask you because, like, we were talking about that connection. You still have that connection with Disney. Now, I'm curious. Then, when Raven's Home was a night concept, came back, started again. Was that something that was really exciting for you, or was that something that you were more kind of scared about because it's like, oh, I'm a grown ass adult now. Do I want to go back into that world?
Great question. No, I had nothing going on. I was excited about it. I needed the money. I was living in New York. I was living paycheck to paycheck, working in restaurants, like everybody else. And was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be on TV again. I was nothing but excited. I also I wasn't being honest with myself. I thought it was how could I have known? I kind of thought I was going to just be like it was. And of course it wasn't. I don't know. We had to be mentors, and it really, of course, wasn't about Raven and myself anymore, as it shouldn't be. It's a Disney Channel kids show. It caters to the children. But when I got the call, I was really excited. Unfortunately, I had lost my mother tragically, a few weeks later.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Excuse me, a few weeks before
the call. Oh no.
And so it was hard to celebrate, and it was
Yeah.
hard to sort of not tell my mother about it, who was always my biggest fan.
Oh.
I know it sucked. But so it was really weird. I was in New York thinking, you know what? I got that call, and I was in New York listening to to Alicia Keys. Now you're in New York, na-na-na-na, dreams are made of. There's nothing you can't do. And I thought, oh my gosh, there's nothing I can't do. My world's going to open up. But it's like, that's not how things go. I tell my students that all the time. I'm a teacher, and it's like, it's a job. It's just a job. Of course, I was very lucky. It helped me a lot. It helped me financially to where I'm in a much better place. And
You own a property. I do not own a property. Okay, I own a podcast studio, and that shit is expensive.
totally. But I own a property because my mom died. You know what I mean? That's
no,
really
is that why?
yeah. I mean,
I'm rubbing her back. Like, this is so creepy.
Right.
Like, why am I doing that right now?
channel doesn't pay that great.
Sweetheart.
I love your dynamic though. I have
It
to
is.
say, like, you
That's
guys
what
have a
people
really
say.
You guys do
fantastic
have
dynamic. No, I told you, please, we need that for the
She
thumbnail.
burps a lot, by the way.
I
Like,
do.
what
Is
is
my breath
that?
bad?
No. Oh, it's beautiful. Y'all need to sit closer together. You're giving me anxiety.
I know.
We used to sit really close.
way closer.
Like,
Now
our
we got
studio's
these-
different now, and these chairs are so big.
we thought we'd be cool. Like, you know, all the cool podcasts have like these big comfy chairs and they look comfy.
Are you talking about Call Her Daddy?
Yeah, like
Chairs are
they look
fucking massive.
They look comfy on video, and then you get them, and then you sit, and you're
And
like, "There's no comfortable way to sit in these.
There's no
There's no,
comfortable
like,
way to sit in
flattering
them.
way
It's
that you're, like,
not flattering
lounging.
whatsoever,
Guys,
because you're
I
always
love
like.
Call Her Daddy. I love Chicks in the Office. I love Hannah Burner.
Oh,
I
we
love
love Hannah
all
Burner.
the girlies. I love you all. I think there's space for all of us. We all need to be
Yes.
supporting each other.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest, like those chairs that Call Her Daddy has. Did you ever see that show growing up? We're millennials, but like,
No,
it was
Big
like
Comfy
the
Big comfy couch. Yep.
The clown, the lady with the little
Yeah.
nose. Did you not see it? I saw
Oh,
somebody
I
do
love
a
Big-
Halloween
Big
outfit,
Comfy
like
Couch.
a hot Halloween outfit of that.
That's with a couch attached to the body or something.
No, as the clown lady, and I was like, now I want to be that like sexy version of
Right.
that.
Oh
It's a good
man,
I
costume.
digress.
No, but yeah,
that's-
these
that's
chairs
interesting how
suck.
things work.
Honestly, they don't like. They're like
gorgeous.
Fran was
They
saying.
look
They look great, but there's no flattering way to sit in them because like a comfortable human being would sit in these like this, right? Like
you need a
sit
pillow.
back. Right? But
need a
like
pillow in your-
Can I just
nobody
be
like
really
if
honest
you're
about
sitting like this, like in any outfit besides a sweatshirt, is just not great.
See, they're very good at keeping the mics right up to their face.
Yeah,
we
you
need to
Oh,
get better.
I do that
Can
to
I
hide
just be
my double
honest about
chin.
these chairs, though?
Yeah.
What? Everyone's obsessed with these chairs. Like we have them too. Can you see?
They're boucle.
Yeah, the
okay, but
boucle, yeah.
who started it? Boucle. Okay, so the Kardashians started it, right? Like everybody has a furry ass couch in their homes now. Everybody, every famous person. I think it's because of the Kardashians. And truly, everybody has those neon signs. They got
Yeah.
the neon sign saying whatever, you know, I went to school today. I've got a toilet or something.
Yeah.
It says something so random.
Live, laugh, love.
Party
Yep,
with
yep,
me.
totally.
Like,
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And we were talking about that, and it's like I kind of can't wait till this stuff like goes out.
What
Like,
do
I
you
feel like
want?
it's all a trend and a trend.
Yeah.
What do I want?
All
You could
red
do
lip
whatever
couches.
you
I love
want.
this. Yeah, we can do whatever we want. It's just so funny, like talking about that, and then it's like, but you know that trend's going to go too, and we're all going to do something else. It's smart to go with the trends. That's what we have to.
Pivot.
We have to keep it current. But
Yeah.
I just think it's so funny. Everyone got obsessed with these. What are they called? Like
Boucle.
yeah, but aren't they like they're like cloud chairs, or they call
Yeah,
them
yeah,
cloud
Yeah,
yeah,
like a
chairs or
cloud
something.
couch.
Do they?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually
Yeah,
do
yeah.
like the feeling of this one. Like if this was straight up
Sensorially.
Of
fuzzy,
course.
I wouldn't like
Of
it.
course.
Like if it was like actually like,
Yeah.
you know.
Like velvet or
Yeah. Oh, I don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like kind of like carpet material. On
Yep.
you know, but
It's
it's
like
nice.
sitting, but on the ground, but in a
Right.
chair.
Exactly. and then everybody's got them, so they must be great. I
love it.
Wait, so I had one other Disney thing that I wanted to ask you guys because I think, yeah, what the Big D,
Big
one
D.
last Big D, the final Big D.
I love that.
Sounds
Was
like a
there-
bachelorette trip.
I know
hashtag.
exactly. Was there a young Disney star that you guys either met or interacted with when they first started and now they've become like big stars or whatever that you were like, this person, they have it. Like they're going to
I
be
thought that- I
incredible.
knew that with Shia. I totally knew that.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, fuck yeah. I knew Shia was going to be a huge star.
Did you know he was going to be a huge?
Yes, I also knew he was. I did. Yeah, I knew he was going to be troubled because of his upbringing.
Yeah.
Sadly, you know what I'm saying?
Right
Yeah.
here in River City,
Yeah.
with a capital T. He's trouble. Yeah, sorry.
She had a crush on him.
I did.
I mean, who didn't? I feel like, you know.
I know he had like a sexy face.
Yeah, and he was Jewish, and I'm a Jew, and I was like, Mom, he's Jewish. Mama, he's a Jew.
I like the way you say Jewish. He's a Jewish girl.
He celebrates the Judaism. No, honestly, when we went to Tiger Cruise, I was like, oh my God, he's so
Was he
cute.
there?
Yes.
Oh God, I think that must have been
I
one
was
of the
like-
last times I saw him.
Am I
Yeah,
allowed
I
to
was like-
ask? Like, did you kiss him ever?
Did you kiss him? Oh my God, did you kiss him?
No.
Was it at my party?
No, he was.
Was it the weed?
He was already kind of, I think, kind of conceited that then already. You know, he was already up himself. So I had no shot. I felt so inferior at the time. And now looking back on it, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because I mean, you guys like, and there's all the Disney, there's all like the Disney Channel. They loved putting everybody together for things like to a certain point, right?
Yeah,
occasionally, but the big, the Disney Channel games, like all those
Channel
kinds
games.
of things.
I feel
throw
like
them together.
Did you do Disney?
No,
Channel
I know
games?
Anneliese did one.
Anneliese, you definitely did.
Anneliese definitely did.
Were you
one.
on the green team?
She was.
I was the red.
I was gonna say red. I think Zac Efron was on her team.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
That's why people know about it. That's the only reason people know about it.
Met Zac Efron. We need to talk about.
People ask me about those things that day all the time, and I don't. It was one day, so many days, and it was work. We weren't actually playing games. Also, I hate games. I like watching TV. So
talk about authenticity.
Yeah,
I love it.
No, I love it.
But that's so interesting. Like I'm trying to think of.
Did you actually compete against each other?
No,
in more ways than one.
Yeah, well, not in those games, but I remember growing up, and I remember Miley Cyrus. I don't remember thinking about Selena Gomez or Ariana Grande. I remember I was doing a musical. I was doing a musical in Texas, and I was doing Meet Me in St. Louis in Texas, and she came to see me in the show because she was rehearsing 13 on Broadway.
Yeah.
And she came up to me, she was like obsessed. She was like, oh my God, you're so amazing. You're so amazing. And I think back on it now and it's like, oh my gosh, look where she's, you know what I mean? It's like,
that's cool.
Yeah,
that is cool.
But I do remember auditioning people. Sorry, people were auditioning for Hannah Montana. And I was already on That's So Raven. So that I had young kids, parents asking me to coach their kids. And I was coaching their kids. And then I heard Miley Cyrus was auditioning. And I told those kids' parents, don't pay me. That kid's never going to get it. There's no reason for me to coach them. Miley Cyrus is here. Like it's over. Nepotism, but also she's incredibly talented.
Yeah. So, oh man, that's
I could really listen to you guys talk all day. I'm not gonna lie.
I know.
Well, I love
very
you guys,
enjoyable.
and I was just so excited that we got to be able to connect in this way, and I'm really just proud of everything that you guys are doing. I mean, 7 years is like insane. I can't even imagine.
Thank you.
Really
Yeah,
she's amazing. It's a long time. Do you feel old? Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, it's funny. We always joke about, and I know like you just grow up. You just not even grow up fast, but it's just you're working a lot. So when you have to like remind yourself like I am young.
People like
they
get confused how old I am all the time because I started when I was 19. So it was like I had like 1 year in between high school and like working here. And so at first I was always like, oh my God, she's so young. And now that I've been working here for 7 years, now it's like, oh my God, she's like 40, but I'm 26. So it's like I think people either think like people
in
think,
internet years.
Yeah, no,
40.
right. So people either think that I'm like way older than I am or like still really young. Like, it's like because I guess like I start like it's weird. Like we did a Sirius XM show, like a radio show, and I was 19. Like, it's like bizarre.
So cool.
I know.
That's so great. So you're a child star too.
Right.
Listen, I wish.
She always she tried.
Listen, we'll start this up again.
That's a whole nother guys, that's a whole nother
episode. I was
episode.
a child actress and model and I auditioned for many Disney shows. But I didn't make it. I did not make it.
Wait, what? Wait, what'd you say?
She auditioned for many.
I auditioned for many.
Tell us, give it to us.
Shake It Up, Ant Farm,
See,
but
Shake It Up. Interesting. How was that process? Did you get callbacks?
No, not for those shows.
No worries. I think you would have been great, especially on Shake It Up. I was on Shake It Up, and I got to tell you. I didn't
shaken, not stirred.
It was nothing shaken. It was
Yeah, no.
Everything happens for a reason. Because honestly, look at the path that you've. Yeah. It's all led all of us to. I mean, I just think this is a great empowering vehicle for women to be able to like sit down and find community. Sometimes with each other, collaborating and stuff like that. Like I personally just really love what we're doing, and we do have merch. It's coming. Love it. We haven't launched it yet, but like
send it our way.
Please. We'll buy it because you bought ours.
No,
we have to buy it in return.
Yeah, that is true.
Yes. Okay. I need to buy more merch then.
Okay, what can we put you down for?
Yeah.
It's like Girl Scout cookies, right?
Yeah.
Girl Scout cookies.
Yes. A sweatshirt, a t-shirt, a hat.
Right. And next time when we're in New York, we do have to hang out in person.
Yes, we do have to do it in person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be so much fun.
Stop by Hamptons. Y'all are your family.
I've never been to the Hamptons. I go to the Jersey
weren't you
Shore.
just, where were you? We're in Fire Island. I listened to your pod. You were like somewhere for like the summer.
I went to Montauk for one weekend, okay?
That was it. Montauk.
I went to Montauk for one weekend. Normally I'm not there. It was one time.
Yeah.
I went to the Jersey Shore. That's way opposite of that.
That's it. Jersey. I don't. Any place is more like fancy than like me in the pickup line of like the school. You know? Like, come on, guys.
Well, that's true. That's true. Did you see Summer House in Montauk? Did you visit with anybody from Summer House?
Like Hannah?
Oh,
we love Hannah. We do love
Hannah. I do love Hannah. I did not see anybody in my outing. Do
you guys watch?
She watches
the
TikTok girlies. The TikTok girlies were out and about at Surf Lodge.
They're everywhere.
But
they're everywhere now.
No, and all the Bravo shows are the Bravo shows are great. Oh, Anneliese, you watch all of them?
Yes, I love them. I'm obsessed.
What's your favorite one?
Oh, God. Honestly,
these are your people.
Yeah.
Below Deck.
Really?
Well, because I do know it's everyone's favorite. It's their highest rated. And it's because so much happens. So much goes on. There's so much conflict.
Yeah.
So many characters.
In a small view, like a
there's
vessel.
danger. There's obviously relationships, gossip, but like people hurt themselves. And I mean, I love all the Real Housewives, but right now, just because Below Deck's on and I watched it last night, which I want to talk to you about.
I tried to watch Selling OC and it was fucking awful.
That one's
I just finished the whole second season.
You can't do that. You gotta watch Vanderpump. You gotta watch Summer House.
Yes.
Southern Charm. The Housewives.
Selling Sunset and Selling OC, they bring people in because you love to see those beautiful houses and like what all that stuff is. But the shows are so the drama itself is so fake.
I know, it's so fake and I get so mad. It's so repetitive. It's the same conversation. It's the same conflict the entire episode.
I know.
And also, they show the houses like in 2 seconds.
Fight.
They're going to start watching reality. We need to do this. This is a passion of hers that she feels safe in. I need to honor that.
Yeah, and then you can
bring her in.
And then you could do reality TV recaps on your podcast.
Yes. Okay, we're going to do that.
And that'll be a safe space.
It's always fun. Guys,
that's what
ladies,
we're going to do.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. We love you guys.
It's been so cool to see the podcast and also, Christy, just the whole network in general too is really cool. And it's so perfect for honestly, this generation where those shows are so special to everybody, and to relive them all is so fun. I think it was just a genius, great idea. And it's been awesome to see. So thank you both for joining us. This is amazing.
Yay.
Big Name Bitches comes out on Thursdays, and you can listen wherever you listen to podcasts, correct?
Yes.
Amazing.
And follow us, because we're just starting with our socials, but overall,
follow them everywhere.
Yes.
You'll find out.
We love Noah too.
Yes.
You'll
find out more stories about the Tiger Cruise on their podcast.
Exactly. You will.
Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome.
You're lovely. You're lovely.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, ladies.
Bye.